Derby County head back to Pride Park Stadium to face up against Preston North End, with a familiar face returning to the Pride Park land, with Harrison Armstrong heading this way, with Preston North End after joining on loan. Now it's going to be humongous to see how Derby County get on. They're currently sitting 3 unbeaten in the league, as well as looking forward to potentially getting their second win of the Championship season. Now both sides have a couple of injury worries to think about, but John Eustace and Preston's manager in all have a lot of decisions to make heading into this game. There's a lot of discussion around the league table so far. Preston North End 8 points after 5. Derby County have 5 points after 5. We're going to see how that progresses across the course of this weekend. But if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. But shall we now take a deeper look into Derby vs Preston? Head on over to raffle.com, linked down in the description, so that you can get yourselves into the raffle to win 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice. Tickets start at just £1 per ticket, with a range of different bundles available to you, where you can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets to get 10 free, and 15 tickets for 15 free. All you need to do is head on over to Derby County's website, get yourself a fan ID. So if you are the winner of this raffle, I can send you over those tickets, and all you have to do is enter a question just a little bit about Jamie Carragher and what club he played at for his entire career. So if you haven't done so already, head on over to raffle.com, linked in the description, so that you can join the raffle for 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice. Now, Derby County do have a couple of injury doubts to worry about, starting off with someone in the ilk of Curtis Nelson. Now, it's not someone who I'm going to talk about every game as a result of him being deregistered from the squad, and Derby County's squad currently being full, but Curtis Nelson will probably be missing from now until January. He is anticipated back in training over the course of the next few weeks, and then we're anticipating that he'll be playing with the B team or the 21s as he gets himself back up to fitness. What happens with him in January is anybody's guess, but we will wait and see on that one. Now on to Corey Blackett-Taylor. Now I anticipate he's probably about a week or so away. He had a similar injury to that of Charles Abuka, and Abuka made his return to under-18s football on Saturday, so there is a possibility Corey Blackett-Taylor will be back in the fold over the course of the next week. Now then, we look at players like Owen, Beck and Sondre Langas. Now, this one may come a little bit too early for them, but we'll get full confirmation of that from John Eustace in his press conference later on today. And it's going to be interesting to see sort of how that does develop, because once they're back fit, do they get straight back in the side? Obviously, Derby County picking up their first clean sheet of the season up against West Brom, as well as their first victory. So it's going to be interesting to see, does Owen Beck get thrown straight in? Does Sondre Langas get thrown straight in? Personally, I would anticipate the answer to that question is no, but it's going to be very, very interesting to see how John Eustace does deal with those sort of issues. Now, if we look at the injuries on a Preston North End standpoint, the likes of Brad Potts, Jordan Thompson, Joshua Seri, Mulatin, Osamic, Robert Brady and Will Keane are all expected to miss out of this one, with Harrison Armstrong reportedly a doubt, despite coming on in, I think it was the 60th minute on the weekend. Now, if we do look at the recent form of both sides, Derby County obviously picked up their first win of the Championship campaign versus West Brom last week, in which they were able to score, I think it was in the 84th minute, with Andreas Weimann, with substitutes making the difference for Derby County, which is something that we didn't have last season. You then look at the game versus Ipswich Town, a game in which Derby County will probably feel they should have taken 3 points from, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, and unfortunately giving away a penalty in the 16th minute of added time meant that ended as a 2-2 draw. They lost 2-1 to Burnley in the EFL Cup with a late goal from Burnley. A little bit of defensive issues in that one. They picked up a good draw up against Bristol City before that, with Carlton Morris scoring late on, and a defeat to Coventry City in their second to last home game. Obviously Bristol City was the other one. Now if we look at Preston North End, their form in recent weeks hasn't been that great. Middlesbrough, they ended up with a 2-2 draw at home. They're up against Portsmouth, they lost 1-0. They lost 3-2 to Wrexham, but before that took a 2-1 victory against Leicester City and a 1-0 win against Ipswich Town. Now, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, the league table at this point isn't really anything to go off, but Preston North End currently sit just 1 point outside of the playoffs with 8 points in 5 games. They've scored 6 goals and conceded 5 to have a goal difference of +1. They're level on points with Swansea in 7th and Pompey in 9th. Then you've got Derby County, who sit all the way down in 19th place with just 5 points in 5 games, but they've scored 8 goals, conceded 11, so they're up there in terms of goal scoring in the division as a team, but they're also there in terms of goals conceded. Now, it is going to be interesting to see how this develops, with Preston North End's home record looking absolutely exemplary. 2 wins, 1 draw in their first 3 games, but that doesn't matter as they are playing at Pride Park Stadium. Derby County have 1 point at home, 1 draw, and 1 defeat. In terms of away form, Preston North End find themselves in 18th, 1 draw and 1 defeat in 2 games. Derby County have ones all across the board with 1 win, 1 draw and 1 defeat, a -1 on goal difference and 4 points to their name. Now, in terms of the XG table, Derby County should be sitting in last place according to XG. They've scored 3 more goals than they should have. They've conceded 2 more goals than they should have as well. And in terms of points, they have 2 more than they probably should have at this point. And they're currently sitting 5 places better off than they should, according to that of the XG table. Now, if we do take a look at the head-to-heads of these two sides, Derby County have 11 wins to their name, Preston North End just 3, with 5 draws in there as well. If we go back to last season, Derby County took a 2-0 win back in April, one of John Eustace's first games in charge of Derby County. It was a huge win for Derby at that point as they were looking for the survival. You go back to November, it was a 1-1 draw, and then you have to go all the way back to 2022 when Derby County were in the midst of an administration relegation crisis, but they were able to come away 1-0 victors. And you can go all the way back to 2010 when Derby County won 3-0 on the 16th of October with Dean Moxey, Alberto Bueno and I think Robbie Savage scoring on that day. A very interesting team led by Nigel Clough back in 2010. Now, if we do take a look at Preston North End squad, it is going to be very, very interesting to see what they do this weekend. Like, you look at some of the players that they've got within their group. Obviously, a player like Paul Valentin, who Derby County were targeting. You've got Stefan Thordarson, a player who Derby County tried to sign last season. Thierry Small, former Derby County loanees in Lewis Dobbin and Harrison Armstrong. And then you look at the forward line, you've got Michael Smith, Dan Jebberson. You've got some really, really good talent within this squad, and it is going to be interesting to see how they line up on Saturday at 3 o'clock as Derby County do host them. But if we obviously look at the Derby County side, I think there could be some changes heading into this one, and I'm not saying that it's changes in a negative fashion, because I think Derby County played excellently up against West Brom in terms of being defensively solid and being able to get the result. But ultimately, I felt that in terms of the actual performance of the game, they weren't that good, which is obviously sort of disappointing to look at and sort of disappointing to discuss, because when you look at your own team, you want to look at them and go, you know what, we played really well there. We really deserved to pick up the 3 points. But in my total honesty, I don't think we deserved the 3 points against West Brom. It's a massive 3 points, absolutely. But do I think we deserved it? No, I don't. And I think that's why we could see some potential changes. There's a potential move to a back 4 that John Eustace could go for with a 4-3-3 with the likes of Ibo Adams, David Ozone, Lewis Travis as that midfield 3 with Clark, Briatan Diaz and Carlton Morris up front. You also have the possibility to add in an extra striker in the form of Patrick Agimang or Lars Jorgen Selverson, and there's also the opportunity that you could add in a number 10, Clark on one side, Diaz on the other, Vyman through the middle behind a Carlton Morris, obviously with Rhian Brewster set to miss out the next few weeks. There's a lot of decisions to be made by John Eustace as we head towards this game on Saturday. Obviously, with Rhian Brewster being out, it's a massive miss for Derby. The captaincy changing hands to Lewis Travis is obviously a massive decision as well. But these are all discussions that are going to be had over the course of the next few weeks, and they're going to be discussions which are continually ongoing as Derby County fans, because we've made so many changes to the squad this year and we don't actually know how this squad is going to line up once everybody is fully fit. And that is what makes me confident of having a positive season. It's that if we don't know, opposition teams don't know. And I think if you look at someone like Brereton Diaz, I think he had a fairly okay game up against West Brom. I just felt we really struggled to get involved, same as Bobby Clark. But I feel like that was more down to the way we set up against West Brom rather than they struggled to perform, if that makes sense. So it is going to be interesting to see how that develops over the next few weeks. Now, you can obviously let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments. Obviously, Derby County searching for their second win in a row and their second win in the Championship, and it would give them the opportunity to rise as high as, I believe, 7th in the division. Should they take a victory and win by 5 goals, they could find themselves ahead of Swansea City. Well, actually, it just has to be a 5-goal swing, and that would be very, very interesting to see. But obviously, as Derby County fans, we need to be calm, cool and collected as we head towards this game. There's still 41 matches of this EFL Championship season to go. There's a transfer window just around the corner as well. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments if you have not done so already. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. Check out the likes of Loaded, NordVPN and Kitbag down in the description. It's one way that you can get yourself a product while supporting this channel, and obviously makes me able to create better content for you guys. So if you haven't done so already, hit like, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Let me know your thoughts down below and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye guys, bye bye. Head on over to raffle.com, linked down in the description, so that you can get yourselves into the raffle to win 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice. Tickets start at just £1 per ticket, with a range of different bundles available to you, where you can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets to get 10 free, and 15 tickets for 15 free. All you need to do is head on over to Derby County's website, get yourself a fan ID. So if you are the winner of this raffle, I can send you over those tickets, and all you have to do is enter a question just a little bit about Jamie Carragher and what club he played at for his entire career. So if you haven't done so already, head on over to raffle.com, linked in the description, so that you can join the raffle for 2 Derby County home tickets or a 2025-26 DCFC kit of your choice.